Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Stitcher. I should know better than not to go in order. iTunes, Spotify, Audible, and more. And all of the major platforms that I'm sure I have forgotten to say, but the list keeps getting longer, but I'm not complaining at all. Not just because I'm on the 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa that you can all join by going to drmarissa.life. But I'm also not complaining because I am just delighted that so many of you are starting your morning with me or starting it with Stephanie Miller and then staying with me so that I can balance out all of the bad news out there with some good news, which is what this show is all about. And I am Dr. Marissa, your hashtag positively opinionated host. I'm also on a Happy 88 mission, which is 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. And it is November 9th today. It is National Scrapple Day. If you are not from the East Coast, you may not know what Scrapple is. National Scrapple Day on November 9th recognizes the first pork food invented in America. For those of you, it is traditionally a mush of pork scraps and trimmings combined with cornmeal, wheat flour, and spices such as sage, thyme, savory, and black pepper. The mush is then formed into a semi-solid loaf, sliced and pan-fried. Now, that's the official definition of what Scrapple is. When I was living in Philadelphia, I was doing my internship for my PhD and also my dissertation over there, as well as doing some remote learning. And I was staying with my grandma Blum. And for those of you who don't already know, my mom was adopted by a Russian Jewish woman, Anna Blum. And so I was the Jewish Chinese granddaughter. And I had an Uncle Moishi and an Aunt Ethel and an Aunt Penny and an Uncle Marty. So I actually stayed with my grandma during the time that I was doing my internship. Actually, that's not true. I only stayed for 9 months because I gained 19 pounds in 9 months because she was such a good cook. And she literally, honey, are you having a bad day? Here, eat this. And she was a great cook. And, did you have a great day? Let's celebrate. Eat this. So I had to move out. I ended up living 1801 Buttonwood, right by the stairs that Rocky runs up in the, what movie was that? Rocky. So great memories of that. But it was in Philadelphia that I actually had my first Scrapple. And when I asked what it was, I really wished I hadn't asked what it was, because I was told that in the meat plant, at the end of the day, all of the meat that they had processed, my big brother would call it flesh, but I still eat meat. Don't tell him. But at the end of the day, after walking around in the meat plant, you can imagine what they were doing. They have a bucket by the door, and they would scrape off everything from the bottom of the boot and make it into a patty. And that is the definition that I got, that I wish I hadn't got, of Scrapple. That was the first and last time I think I had Scrapple. But anyways, Happy National Scrapple Day. November 9th is also Microtia Awareness Day. It's observed on November 9th every year to spread knowledge about this congenital disability. Microtia derives its name from the Latin word that means little ears. Approximately one child in every 9,000 is born with microtia. It occurs when the ear or ears do not fully develop during the first trimester of pregnancy. This leaves the child with a small, underdeveloped, or no ears at all. While it is diagnosed at birth, there's no clear understanding as to what leads to the disability. Children born with microtia may suffer hearing loss, facial challenges, and social. The EAR community organization founded Microtia Awareness Day in 2016. Melissa Tumblin founded the EAR community in 2010 after facing challenges due to insufficient information. Her daughter was born with microtia. Since then, the EAR community has brought more than 6,500 people together from across the world to share experiences and resources. The community is made up of children and adults with microtia, their families, teachers, advocates, and medical professionals who provide care for microtia. So there you go. You didn't know something, and now you know it. And because it is National Microtia Awareness Day, I thought I would bring you a spotlight interview from my special series called Radio for Our Deaf Community. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we come back and talk to you about something that I'm involved in right now, thanks to a friend, Dr. Natalie, who is in a little bit of emotional pain along with her friends because her friend has been missing for 3 weeks. Some of you have called and emailed and texted. Yes, that was me on the news. I was asked by Natalie to do a prayer, and I put it into a song and did those both last night. So when we come back, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that story, as well as introduce our spotlight film from my Radio for Our Deaf Community series. Don't go away. We'll be right back on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, including KCAAradio.com. That broadcasts to over 5 million homes in Southern California, and because of the live stream, reaches over 100 nations. You can also get the show first thing on my YouTube channel. If you free subscribe there, you'll get an alert at 8 a.m. that a new show is going to drop. And that way you can not just listen, you can also watch. And I promised that when we came back, I would tell you a little bit about a story that is going on right now. It's not a happy story yet. I know that everything happens for a good reason, even when it doesn't feel good at the time. And I was invited by my friend Natalie, Dr. Natalie John, to talk and pray and sing at an event in downtown LA. And what happened 3 weeks ago, her really good friend, and she's actually the godmother to Heidi Plank's son, who you can read the specifics of what's going on. It's been all over the news. She disappeared. She's been gone for 3 weeks. They don't know where she is. She left one of her phones. Her dog was found roaming around the 22nd, I believe, floor of this building that we did the vigil outside of. It was 12th that we did outside of on 12th and Hope in downtown LA. Her effects are, no one has heard from her. They were alerted that she was missing when she failed to pick up her son, who she's been in a custody battle since the boy was quite young with her ex-husband. I usually say husband, but I don't think this circumstance deserves that. So there's also another twist in that she was the finance person in her company, and her boss or former boss and partner have been indicted by the FBI for a Ponzi scheme that they bilked lots of seniors out of $43 million. Now, she did not know what was going on. That's all we know right now for sure. I can't say that everything's going to be okay right now, because it's not okay. I know that it's going to be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. My heart breaks wide open with love and comfort and compassion to all of her friends who were there at the vigil, especially Lauren and Natalie and that whole group of beautiful women who absolutely are missing their friend and are very confused. And the news has actually been wonderful to cover it, to raise awareness. And if you are listening to this and you have any clue, if you knew Heidi Plank, if you go to the hashtag find Heidi Plank, you will see information about her and how to go to the tip line. So I wanted to bring you some of the clips so you could see what the vigil was like. And then afterwards, I'm going to give you the information in case you have any information that you can share yourself about Heidi's whereabouts.
This is a heartbreaking story. Loved ones held a vigil and a prayer service for Heidi Plank, hoping that she's found. As you see, the candles are still here at the corner. 3 weeks ago, her dog mysteriously turned up on the 29th floor of this downtown LA high-rise, but she vanished.
Our Father, who art in heaven.
Candles lit one by one, a vigil of hope despite the darkness.
We light these candles as a symbol of the light that is our friend Heidi. And from this one flame, we light the corner of 12th and Hope.
Friends and loved ones illuminated downtown Los Angeles, candles in the shape of a heart for missing mother Heidi Plank.
Heidi would do anything for anyone. And I just miss her.
Signs that read hashtag find Heidi Plank. And where is Heidi Plank? Desperate to find the 39-year-old divorced mother, her dog was found wandering on the 29th floor of this high-rise in downtown LA, but not her.
It's really emotional because it's been 3 weeks and we don't know. Our hope and our prayers that she is safe.
Detectives are seeing if her disappearance is somehow linked to her job as a financial controller at Camden Capital in El Segundo. Her boss, Jason Sugarman, was charged in a federal case, accused of running a $43 million fraud scheme. Friends say Plank was stressed out from work. Security images show her leaving her mid-city home on October 17th, on her way to her son's football game. Her ex-husband says she suddenly left.
She didn't seem agitated. She might have been a little bit antsy, but she left with her dog. And she just walked up to us and said, I'm going to go.
Plank's friends say she'd never leave her son alone. He just celebrated his 11th birthday.
He's a grown boy, so he knows what's going on. It's a lot of prayers, and let him know mommy is going to be back soon.
they'll never give up. Well, Plank's Range Rover was never found, although detectives say they have surveillance video from this high-rise, but they haven't said exactly what it shows. As you see these missing person signs, they have posted hundreds of them all throughout downtown Los Angeles. If you drive through this area or live here, you may have seen them. Now, the friends and family, they urge you to please call police, even with anonymous tips, if you happen to know what happened to Heidi Plank. Putting live here in downtown LA, Gene Kang, KTLA 5 News.
I'm okay. Yeah, good. We can switch over though. We can do a little bit this though. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Jane.
I have a live shot.
It's okay. Get her after. She's great. Sure. He's lovely. Okay. Thank you. All right. Everyone's good to go. Hardest question.
Everybody ready?
First.
Yes. Name and how to spell it. Yes. Hi, my name's Dr. Marissa, Marissa, last name Pei, P for positive. And normally I'm on your side. And tonight I am sad and hopeful as the voice of hope. I was asked by Heidi Plank's son's godmother, Natalie Foodie, who is a very good friend of mine, and she was very distraught, and she asked if I could come and say a prayer at this vigil, a vigil of hope, not of hopelessness, of someone who has been missing, who is loved by so many, especially her 10-year-old son. And we just don't know. We have more questions than answers. We do know that her dog was found wandering around in the building behind us. We do know that she's been missing for 3 weeks, and we want to believe the best. So I'm here. Some of you may know me, Dr. Marissa. I was introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah, and I am a voice of hope. I've always been someone who wants to see the best, to think the best, not to worry unless there's something to worry about. So as we hold vigil, as her friends are here showing their support, showing their love, their hearts broken wide open with so much pain, but hope. And that's the word of the hour. And we're just knowing that someone out there knows something that can help. I know the police are on this, FBI are on this. The media has been so wonderful in supporting this search for Find Heidi Plank. Thank you.
Is there anything else, you guys? Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Jean, for that really heartfelt report. It was definitely weird being on the other side of the microphone, but I was so blessed and honored to be part of that, to really symbolize or at least hold up my end of the hope for all of our friends who just are really hurting. But I'll keep you posted on what's going on. There's lots of different facets of this, but let's just take a deep breath in right now and release comfort and hope and peace, especially to her son, Natalie's godson. All right. And as promised, because it is National Microtia Day, I thought I would play a spotlight interview from my series called Radio. And why would I have a series called Radio for Our Deaf Community? Well, y'all know that I am on faculty at Agape International Spiritual Center, and we have wonderful American Sign Language speakers who help interpret during the services. And I was watching Sharon Pierre-Louis one time and saying, wow, I love the language. I love her expressions. I thought, since I do have cameras in the studio, why don't I bring her in and interpret for some of my shows? And of course, she obliged, and that began the entire series. Today, I'm going to bring someone who really exemplifies that the only handicap or disability is a bad attitude, and his name's Brian Tom. He is a CEO. He is a dragon boat rower. He does so many things. And so I thought it would be a fitting spotlight interview to bring you today. So enjoy. If you haven't already noticed, it's a Radio for Our Deaf Community series show today, thanks to my beautiful interpreter, Romina Mena. So
little bit of applause for her. And I am very, very grateful for the many inspiring guests on my show. Frederick, you remember him that has had his hands chopped off by the Rwandan genocide, to actress Jerry Jewell, the Facts of Life actress who was the first handicapped actor to be on in her role. She had cerebral palsy. She's been on my show twice. They all prove a saying that my friend Larry Wilkes, who was a stroke survivor and is now on the other side, used to say, the only handicap in life is a bad attitude. So it's with that vein and that legacy that I brought to you in studio, a man who doesn't let his blindness stop him from anything. Actually, I met Brian this year at 2 different award events. The Asian Entrepreneur Awards that I won in 2012. He took over my title this last year, and I emceed that, and I was happy to meet him, and I knew that I wanted to have him on the show. He's a visionary speaker and business leader who went blind from glaucoma at the age of 20. His personal philosophy of no excuses and desire to give back led to his award-winning nonprofit organization, Blind Start of America, with the mission of helping the blind cross finish lines. This year, Blind Start's Dragon Boat Race team made history, being the first blind American team to represent USA at the Club Crew World Champions in Australia this coming up March 2016. Although blind, Brian has a clear vision to inspire and teach entrepreneurs how to be highly profitable with stewardship no matter what challenges arise. He's been featured on NBC, CNN Headline News, and now with the Asian Oprah on UBN, KCAA, and CNBC News Radio. Please welcome to the studio, Mr. Brian Tom. Welcome.
Thank you. And hi and happy holidays, Dr. Marissa.
And happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful, it's my favorite season of joy, right up my life alley. And I'm glad that you were able we were able to get this to happen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Excited.
So let's go back to when you were 20 years old. And I'm assuming that everything before that had been somewhat okay. And take me back to what that was like. So you were 20 years old, you graduated from high school, you'd started a business, and then what happened?
Yes, at age 20, I was at my dream school at UCLA. Go Bruins.
My SC listeners not going to like that. However, I did teach at UCLA for 6 years in the business school, so I can be with you.
Yes. Well, my wife also is a pharmacist from USC, so we call ourselves Bro-Gens. So we always win.
Okay.
When we come back, Brian Tom, the blind CEO, on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned into Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, CNBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. And this is a show about hope and happiness. So I bring you topics and people who inspire hope and happiness. And today is no exception. As promised, my spotlight interview is with Brian Tom. He's a blind CEO. So enjoy.
So going back to age 20, I I had my sight, but I was always highly myopic or highly nearsighted. And I never thought in a million years that I would go blind.
Right.
And, at that age, you think you're unstoppable, invincible. And I was finishing up at UCLA. I'm the oldest of 3 boys. And so I wanted to be that positive role model. And, my folks didn't have much money, so we had to find a way to pay for college. And I wanted to be that example. And so all I remember is that it was getting harder and harder for me to drive. I wore contact lenses all the time, and it was getting dangerous. At night, I couldn't see on the freeway, the glares. I could really feel that, hey, I was going to be a danger to others and to myself. And so then I went in thinking that I was just going to get a new pair of contact lenses. And lo and behold, the intraocular eye pressures in my left eye, my stubborn bad boy eye, was through the roof at like 46. And I had emergency eye surgery within 1 week. Leaving me blind for the rest of my life in that eye. And that was a wake-up call of how fast an eye disease like glaucoma can take your sight if you do not stay on top of it.
Right. So initial reactions that time, what do you remember? Mad, sad?
all the emotions, all the negative emotions. Why me? Hey, I'm a good person. I'm a good guy. I was a fun-loving, carefree guy, and why me? And I would, that tested my faith. I went through all the emotions of depression, sadness, anger, etc. You name it. And again, if not for the right support system of family and friends, you really find out who your true friends are. When, the shift, as you said, hits the fan. Exactly.
Right. Well, your mom's in the studio. You called her your number one fan. And the family system helped, the friendships helped. What was the switch? When did you move from that why me to being you now, which is really the you that you are now? I believe that every person has a unique gift, talent, and ability, and you definitely have one in inspiring. I had another guest on from Ireland, Aaron O'Dowd, who also is blind, and he's on a rowing team. So we're in that same. But tell me what happened. And I have listeners or families of listeners who have people who are going through, whether it's cancer or some kind of debilitating disease. What can help them get out of the why me?
Yes, I think 3 things come to mind for me. Ultimately, was when I embraced my challenge or embraced my disability and stopped making excuses for myself. And I think, who you surround yourself with is so important. They say that you are the 5 people you hang around the most. And so I started to hang around positive, winning people, spirits, attitudes, where I had mentors that were both sighted and blind that I could look up to and say, I'm only in my early 20s. I want to have truly a life of independence where I can, finish my education. I can grow a thriving business where I can give back and make a difference, and where I can, marry a beautiful wife, which I did, Janelle. I love you, and have our own home, and really have a fulfilling life. And so embracing my challenge was key, and it became easier. 2 was my faith had been tested. And so my wife, Janelle, helped me to reestablish that as a priority in my life. And through positive thoughts, prayer, all the blessings, started to focus on my blessings, and that expanded. And then I think also, I call them dots, like Braille dots, when the right people, such as yourself, and the right events, that how we met, et cetera, they kind of line up perfectly, and you know you're doing the right thing. And so I just started to move in that right direction, dot by dot, step by step.
Love that. Love that. Dot by dot, one step at a time or one dot at a time.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today, special holiday season guest is Brian Tom, who's blind CEO and visionary speaker and author, who has joined us today to inspire us. And if you can tell, Romina, beautiful Romina over there is making this an episode for our radio for our deaf community. And Brian, you were talking about the dot by dot who you were meeting. You actually are in an inspirational book with some pretty big dots, right?
Yes.
Jack Canfield, Wayne Dyer. Was it Wayne Dyer or
Dr. Dennis Waitley from The Secret and Deepak Chopra.
Deepak Chopra? Okay. Not a shabby group. And speaking of that, Deepak Chopra actually told his assistant that he would be on my show. Don't know when, but that's a huge thing I'm looking forward to next year.
Awesome.
Yeah. This is the time of the teachers. And this is the time where you are just as important as a teacher as anyone who is sighted, because there's something about people who have had, I'll call it the fullest human experience possible, and that is adversity. That is through the pain. That is through something that is not perfect, so to speak. That you have this gift of going through that you can help people that I couldn't help, because I haven't had that experience. So, and I love the fact that you not just wanted a successful business, which is an educational business, right?
Yes.
So tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, so actually, I started my first company when I was sighted, just before I lost my sight. It was back in 1991. I was only 20 years old, and that's how I paid for college. And it's called CEC, CEC California Educational Centers. And we started from scratch with 0 students, 3 staff. I had a small loan from my mom, Jean, of $2,000. And, just the positive attitude that we could be positive role models, big brothers, big sister, mentors to these children. Because back then it was very common for, that's when the dual parent income started, and there were latchkey kids. And so there's just that traditional daycare. And we said, can we make it more fulfilling, more balanced? And so going with our mission statement that back then of helping every student reach his or her highest academic and social potential, we wanted to provide that that full potential, that full experience, because I really believe that one of the reasons that I overcame my disability was because of the rich life experiences I had at a young age, from sports to, a youth Toastmasters for public speaking, to Cub Scouts, to, just all those lessons that come from those extracurricular activities.
Right. Right. So that helped. So and that business is still in place, and it's a successful business.
I feel so grateful and blessed, because actually this year, starting 2016, we're celebrating our silver school year, our 25th year anniversary. We currently serve about 10,000 students per week, grades K through 12, all throughout Southern California.
Amazing. That is amazing. What happened to you did not bring you down.
No.
It went all the way up, both, success on the business side. And then you didn't stop there. You actually thought that you would bring your energy to other blind individuals, which is one of the reasons why I want to present you with Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award, because it's people who not just overcome their own adversity, but take that experience to help others with the same adversity. So, thanks, Jarvis. Yeah. I don't give that out to every guest, by the way.
Thank you so much.
It means a lot to me, and you truly are an inspiration, and I'm very grateful to have you and your experience here. So tell me about Blind Start of America.
Yes, so about 10 years ago, my wife and I wanted to give back, and I was always raised to pay it forward. And I'm so grateful and thankful for the blind organizations that helped me when I was lost. Because when I first lost my sight, I felt like I was the only one. I was only 20 years old, a minority. I was a student at the Braille Institute, Junior Blind of America. And I felt like I was the only young one. I felt like, wow, one of the only minorities. And if you go now, you'll see that, wow, blindness is affecting all ages, all genders, all ethnicities. And so, it's really, it was, what really got me going was I started to be a student at first. And that really helped me to kind of reestablish my mojo, if you will, my confidence. And then I was always taught by my parents to give back. And so I started volunteering, not just taking, giving. And I started to be a spokesperson for some of these blind organizations and actually teaching classes such as fun and friendly public speaking. And this was my way of giving back. And then I said, okay, what can we do to complement what these great blind organizations are doing?
Right.
Okay. And then also 2 statistics really hit me hard that I said, we got to do something about it. When you kind of have that, when you learn about something, you say, we got to do something about this. We got to change this. Right. So what I learned was that at that time, less than 19% of the employment age population that were blind or visually impaired were gainfully employed. That's it.
19%.
Less than 19%.
Less than 19% were
gainfully employed. And then that directly affects, obviously, home ownership, self-esteem.
Money. Yeah.
Exactly. And ultimately, independence, quality of life. So then what really got me, because if you imagine, when I learned that less than 1% of all disabled Americans in our country ever owns a home. And for the blind, it's even lower than that, like 0.007%.
Wow.
That American dream is dead. And I was like, we got to fix that. And, we need to find a way that complements these great organizations. So we really came up with the theme of helping the blind cross finish lines. So whatever that finish line is, whether it's higher education, a successful career, if it's a sport finish line with dragon boat racing or running, or if it's new equipment, if it's a scholarship, we want to help the blind cross finish lines together, bringing the community together.
Beautiful. That is so beautiful. I saw that you also have blind dancing. That's dancing in the dark.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We really have found our niche, and that came, I think, just from all my studying and just going for it, and so we really embraced again the theme of visionary experiences blindfolded. So everything from dining experiences in the dark, wine. I love wine, so wine tasting in the dark, you name it. But we have the blind mud run every summer at Irvine Lake. We have the blind and blindfolded dragon boat race team.
That's amazing. This March, you're going to Australia to do that?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
My goodness. As a professional speaker and author, I had a speaking gig at Edison years ago. This is probably 2008, maybe. And so we had a lunch in the dark event. And this is where, we blindfold all of the guests and give them a visionary experience, blindfolded. And I call him the legend, head coach Gary Furukawa. He came up to me and he said, "Hey, Brian, how about a blind dragon boat race team?" And I said, "Hey, Gary, how about a blind and blindfolded dragon boat race team?" And we high-fived each other, and the rest is history.
Wow.
And we started off as a festival team only for the first 4 years, so which meant we only had one race each summer. We'd have 1 or 2 practices, race, and we would have all these city leaders, mayors, city council members paddle with us blindfolded to help support our cause. As a matter of fact, this past year we had 13 city leaders paddle with us. And so it just...
Were they a help or a hindrance? City leaders, politics, I don't know.
A lot of alphas on the boat. And,
I bet. I race
yes.
sailboats, so I know. There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
We actually, come together as one when you put that blindfold on, and they really paddle for the spirit of the cause, and help us to raise funds as well. So through this process, the demand continued to grow and grow. And last year, we started our first full year season. And, I'm so proud of our team, from our team manager, Alex, to our best coaches, Mark, Laura, Jim. They really helped to bring the Dragon Boat community together. Dr. Chen with the Southern California Dragon Boat Club. Everybody just seemed to embrace our cause. And we got faster, lighter, stronger was our theme this past season. And so there's so much love, so much heart. We call it the 3 T's, Dr. Marissa. This is why we're winning. Timing, technique, and tenacity. And so when we hit those 3 T's, we're beating teams that are sighted. We are showing what's possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How old are the participants, from age what to what?
All ages.
All ages.
It's awesome. All ages, all backgrounds. My mom even has paddled before. My wife, Janelle.
I think I want to try it. I'll come on as a guest, something.
You
right?
got
I
it.
would love to. I'd try everything once.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right, we're on record, so
okay.
definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I love. My name
Absolutely.
means of the water, so I love being on the water. So while we're taking that little break, what flavor of Asian are you, by the way?
so I'm mixed, actually.
Are you?
Yeah. So I'm part Chinese.
Oh.
I'm part Mexican, and I'm part American Indian, Navajo.
Wow, you are a combo plate.
I am a combo plate.
讲国语. Do you speak Chinese?
Just shay. Not much.
Okay. Is it your mom that's Chinese?
My mom is actually mixed. She's all 3.
All 3 of those. Wow.
Yes.
How
My
cool
father
is
is Cantonese. He was. He's Chinese. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So you guys are going to Australia, March. Yeah. How can my listeners support that effort?
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Marissa. So listeners, we would love your help to help the blind cross finish lines and represent the U.S. In the World Championships. So the 3 T's, time, if you can volunteer, treasures, if you can generously donate to our cause. Our website is www.blindstart.org, and you can donate there and learn more about our nonprofit organization and what we do. And then, of course, talents as well. So if you have, say, a photography talent or something of that nature, we'd love your volunteerism in those areas too.
Great. So you have your marching orders. Here's a very fun way to take the hour out of Netflix and put it into something that is fun and will get you out, and you'll feel good about what you're doing to support this effort and become very useful and beneficial in the meantime as well. Great. So the books.
Yes.
What inspired you to write? So you've got actually 3: Stepping Stones to Success, College Goldmine, and SAT Dream Score, which, by the way, I'm going to have to say, my daughter just got accepted at Cornell.
Congratulations.
Last week.
Wow.
Okay, I need an applause for that.
Yeah.
That's like the huge.
Oh, congrats.
We've been on pins and needles for a little while, and then they put in 2 days you'll know, and it was like, I had so many texts from my daughter. I'm so nervous on this. So thank God it got put in out of our misery, and she did get in. So I'm just so super proud of Chloe.
Yes, congrats, Chloe.
Yeah. So SAT. So you actually are writing not just about being blind. You're writing about our college system, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. So again, going back to, you are the 5 people that you hang around the most. Mm-hmm. And so I want to hang around experts. And so what I'm doing is I love interviewing others just like you. Because there's so much we can gain. Right? It's almost like a shortcut. So I came up with these books I call hoodie books. Like, every high school and college student wears a hoodie. They have the colored hoodies. The title is basically in the Greek lettering, and then the pocket-sized guide. So it's like a kind of an airplane book, and like you can read it in like 90 minutes and get a lot of value out of it. So I interviewed a college admissions expert. He's a UC freshman reader, a college counselor and dean at a top high school in California. And so I wanted to get the inside track on how we can best help, kind of package these students with his expertise and my expertise with marketing and branding and really help that student to stand out at the top. And then with SAT Dream Score, that was interesting. So what we did is we interviewed 8 different students who scored perfectly or almost their SAT Dream Score. And we gave them different avatars. So we have like the club president, the musician, the athlete, even the slacker, so that any student can relate to one of those characters and say, you know what, I can do this too.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So your business actually helps students. So I want to make sure, is that all over LA or Orange County or?
Yeah, we're at throughout many schools and school districts in LA and Orange counties. And our theme there, it's all about finish lines.
Okay.
Right. And so our theme for CEC California Educational Centers is helping young minds cross finish lines. And that's where we, from tutoring to test prep to after school programs. So we're very well known for STEM. So our CEC STEM robotics, our CEC STEM public speaking, even our math Olympiad teams. And so we bring this STEM mania to your schools and school districts and really, help create a brighter future for the students no matter what the demographics are. Where they're at.
So if you have children that you would like to give them a finish line to go towards, CEC Start?
Yeah, it's our website is cectutoring.com, and the full name of our company is CEC, which stands for California Educational Centers.
So if you're shopping in that area, you want to shop from someone who's doing much more than just that. And that's what I'm trying to get all my listeners to be, smart and meaningful consumers. Yes. I think that we don't understand how powerful we can be if we begin to choose our products with the person in mind or the founders in mind. And it's a way that we can support just more than good product. There's good product everywhere, but I want you to be smart. It's interesting too, just to say that, Brian called me right before the show today because all of LAUSD is shut down because of some credible threats to the schools. And Brian's like, well, are we going to actually do the show? And I said, absolutely, yes. Because this show has always been, I want to balance out the constantly negative news, the CNN, or all that's wrong with us, with what is right with us. Yes. And you are definitely what is right with us. So thank you for coming on and being my guest on the show.
Thank you, Dr. Marissa.
Yes. Wasn't he amazing? Absolutely incredibly inspiring. I can't even imagine. That's the one sense that I'm I'm not afraid of a lot, but I'm so appreciative of my ability to see. So if you're a person that is complaining about something and you have eyes and you can see, I hope you appreciate all that you can see and are grateful for it, because it's one of those things that you just never know and things could change. And while we're on that topic, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, they're not bad things. Everything happens for us, not to us. Whatever it is that is happening to you now, if you can switch it from, why is this happening to me, to, in this moment, exactly as it is, what is being asked to be birthed in me? What is being developed in me as a direct result of this shiitake that I might be going through? And that, my friends, is a question that was taught to me by Michael Bernard Beckwith, my big brother. And I actually put it on I actually put that on a Post-it and put it in my mirror in my bathroom so that I would see it all the time. Because when we can switch that way of looking at life from complaining and moaning and railing and frustrated and why me and why do bad things happen to everybody and why do bad things happen to good people and that's such a shame and how could this happen? There's no real good answer to any of those questions that are going to make you feel better. So when things happen, when shiitake happens in my life, I take that breath, I stomp up and down, I say I don't like it, and I try to do that in less than 16 seconds. And then I ask the question, what is being developed in me as a direct result of this particular situation? Is it more love? Is it more caring? Is it more good timing? Is it more wisdom? Is it more compassion? Is it more caring? What is it that is being developed and birthed in me? And I was taught that as part of my hashtag Blisscipline that absolutely works for me. So there's your happy 88 tip for today from Dr. Marissa. If you'd like to see the rest of that interview with Brian Tom, please go to my YouTube, free subscribe there, and you'll get that interview as well as the rest of the fabulous Radio for Our Deaf community videos. I think I interviewed Layla Ali with one of my staff interpreters. There's one there with Rick O'Berry. He was actually the dolphin activist that basically single-handedly stopped all of the killing in the cove in Taiji. Oops, not Taiji, in Taiji, Japan. So there's lots of great interviews there that you can enjoy. All right, so free subscribe on my YouTube channel. We're almost to 238,000 views. Trying to make it to 250,000 by the end of this year because I am not competitive at all. But whatever you do is great. But I really want you to enjoy and share all of my videos that are free subscribe. All right? And that's it for show number 572 of Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind, and that includes you. And this is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her loving room during the pandemic, reminding you that it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace, and have the best day ever.